Hello, family.
Hi.
We're back on track, and we really find this session so exciting, Valerie and myself, because we see ourselves being through it. Therefore, we can share our hearts with you through our personal journey together since 1988 by God's
Yes.
grace, mercy, and love. But more than that, Valerie, before the foundation of the world, we were predestined for
Amen.
such a
Yes.
time like this, 2026 and beyond. So I hope and trust, it's a better word, that you all find food in
Yes.
our sessions, not just the milk of the word, not just the bread, but the meat of the word, to grow up in full stature. And that comes by realization and remember who you were before the foundation
Yes.
of the world.
And that is why we've chosen to share our experiences with you.
Yes, and we do really enjoy that, family.
Yes.
Now, session 69. We are moving strongly in our series, The Kingdom of God Within. Topic, Revelation, Removing the Veil of Fear.
Wonderful.
Now, Valerie, we've been taught in religiosity that the moment when you look at the carnal mind at the book of Revelation, you're going to end with fear, terrible fear of the future. But we're going to correct that in this session to say that Revelation is one of the most exciting books in the Bible. And we're going to look at Revelation. Remember, family, Revelation, the book of Revelation, historically, has already been done. But religion will tell you it's a future thing to come. So let me correct you from the start. It's a history book. But we can learn from Revelation metaphorically, symbolically, and allegorically. Isn't that right, Valerie?
Yes, and I take it out of my own life. I used to be so fearful for Revelation because the things that they write there, that they were explaining was going to happen.
Monsters.
But they took it literally. And I was so fearful I didn't want to read it until the Spirit revealed to me the truth about the book of Revelation. Was such a beautiful book.
Valerie, it reminds me also when we watched that end time series of The Thief in the Night and Distant Thunder. I'm sure some of the listeners can relate to that. Fear-based.
Yes.
Nonsense that's been taken out of context completely.
And that was all man-made. God wasn't in it.
Correct. Now let's go on. Again, the topic, Revelation, removing the veil of fear. And as we grow from 3D consciousness to 5D consciousness, more veils are being removed.
Wonderful.
Now, for most of our lives, the book of Revelation was not a book of hope. It was a book of fear under 3D consciousness. When we were growing up, Valerie, all of us, everything about the end times was terrifying.
Yes.
We remember hearing about wars, judgment, beasts out of the sea, the lake of fire, and the collapse of the world. Adults talked about it with urgency, almost like a storm that could break at any moment. As a kid even, that stayed with us. Revelation wasn't something we approached with curiosity or wonder. It was something we avoided. The message we absorbed was simple. This book meant destruction, chaos.
That's what we thought, yes.
And the end of everything good. Now, family, when we discovered the kingdom, Valerie and myself, in our journey, we come to the conclusion that in the kingdom of God that's within you, there is absolutely no end.
Wonderful.
There's no such thing as end times. Because the kingdom, in the kingdom itself, there are no end.
That's right.
Religiosity often reinforced that same feeling. The focus was always on the danger, the warning, the fear. And when fear becomes the lens, it shapes how you read every word. But years later, something shifted. Aren't you glad about that, Valerie?
Wonderful.
As we all change into maturity and understanding and wisdom, as we elevate higher in consciousness, vibration, and energy. instead of staying away from that book, we felt the Spirit pressing us to go back to it, not with the
Yes.
fear we had inherited, but with fresh questions. Look at the beginning again. Look at the words themselves. Look at who it was written to.
Yes.
Look at who wrote it. Look at the culture and the language behind it. Look at the whole picture, not the whole context, not just a little bit part here there. Look at the whole context. The very first line changed everything for us. Revelation 1:1, the revelation of Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Jesus the Christ.
Yes.
Remember, it was not his surname, Jesus Christ. It was Jesus the Christ.
Yes.
The word revelation comes from the Greek apocalypsis, which means an unveiling, a disclosure, the lifting of a veil.
Ooh.
Oh, I want to be glad that the veils are lifted, Valerie.
Yes.
Not destruction, not terror, an unveiling.
And now through this we are unveiling the truth about Revelation. If you ever had a fear of what was written in Revelation and was going to happen, don't, because that was taken out of context.
Correct. And then right at the start of the book comes the blessing. Revelation 1 verse 3. Blessed, happy is the one who reads the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear it. So whoever hears that through our voices today, you
Amen.
are blessed. You
Yes.
are a blessing. Yet so many of us were taught to approach it with dread and anguish and fear. That realization began to shift our perspective because we read it in the right context, right?
Yes.
In the right translation. And again, we would say here, family, if you're seeking a right translation, there are so mistranslations out there. Go back to Aramaic. That's your best way of knowing the truth. Maybe the problem wasn't the book itself, but the lens, 3D consciousness, through which it had been handed to us through religion. So we started asking deeper questions. What did these symbols mean to the people who first heard them? What did imaginary like seals, scrolls, beasts, and fire represent in the world of the first century? Revelation was written to early believers living under immense pressure and persecution. Its language is filled with symbolic imaginary common in Jewish apocalyptic literature, visions meant to reveal deeper spiritual realities, not simply to predict literal headlines thousands of years later. The more we studied it this way, the more something surprising happened. Fear began to dissolve, and can't we bear that out?
Oh, yes.
Because perfect love casts out all fear. What once looked like a book of catastrophic began to look like a book of unveiling, an unveiling of the Christ, an unveiling of truth, an unveiling of the ultimate triumph of love, unconditionally, over systems of oppression and deception. That shift shaped something deeper in our lives. We realized that part of our calling is to remove fear where it has taken root in the lives of many people.
And that's what we want to do.
To be a love extractor, to be a divine disruptor. Don't you like that, Valerie? Not by attacking people, but by questioning the assumptions that keep them trapped in fear.
Yeah.
Revelation, when read through that lens, is not about scaring people into faith. It is about lifting the veil of 3D consciousness so we can see more clearly.
And what it really means.
And when the veil lifts, what we begin to see is not chaos reigning over the world, but Christ, the Christ revealing himself in the midst of it, and that is through you and through me. We
sure.
are the Christs upon the earth. Now we end with the Spirit's whisper in today's session. Fear clouds the vision of the heart, but truth gently removes the veil. What once looked like judgment can become revelation when seen through love. And when we talk about love, it's the unconditional love of the monad.
Yes.
The unveiling of Christ begins not with terror, but with awakened sight. Family, that's why you will hear more and more in 2026 and beyond, the awakened ones. We are the awakened ones.
Yes.
Even in our WhatsApp group, you can always ask for that. We can add you there if you so wish. It's called, our title, the 5D Awakened Sons of God.
And that is what we're doing. We're awakening you now, at this very moment, to awake out of the religious sleep and the lies that you have heard through all the years. Come and awake to the truth.
That's right. And don't we love the truth? And Valerie, I always say the whole truth, not half truth. The whole truth will ultimately really set you completely free.
Yes.
Family, we greet you till our next session. We say, Shalom, Shalom, Namaste.